Men who figure out this one thing before 30 become untouchable. Literally in my life, when I got to learn this one thing, right? It's basically one simple word. It's called identity. And I was like, okay, well, I know myself. I'm confident in myself. Like everything's fine, right? So what's the big deal? Why is this the one hack that makes you something else, right? It's because the sheer fact that when you know yourself, right? What happens is, yeah, you have confidence in yourself. You have this foundation, you have this backing to yourself that you're like, yo, I'm good. I'm good to go forward, right? But that's force, right? Force is nothing but you have that energy because you are giving yourself that backing energy to say, yeah, I'm the shit. I'm the guy. I'm going to make it happen. But what are you trying to make it happen? Right? Like, what are you actually doing? When you question yourself, you have this energy. Maybe you're frustrated because you're not hitting your goals. Maybe you're hitting them not as fast as you want, right? And so when you realize, like, what are you actually aiming for? What's the plan? How do you get there step by step? How do you do what you're trying to do, right? It's very simple. It's not that difficult. So when you have that force and direction, you basically have the identity behind you of why you're doing what you're doing. In other words, your why is so strong, it's so big, that anyone who tries to stop you, like they can try to stop you. But you know that, hey, I got to get to the next step because I got to get to my why. I got to get to my purpose. I got to get to my beginnings. The beginnings of the next loop, the next journey, right? It's that type of thing. So in the end, if you ask me, right, the one thing that's made me untouchable before 30, right? If I knew this like in my teens, it's over. Game over. Nobody can even try. You know, like how am I so sullen, right? When I speak right now, I'm so calm. But the reason is, it's because I have confidence in myself. I have the reason of why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I'm going to get there. And whether it's this video and a bunch of other, business related tasks, you could say, really, without these same videos, I wouldn't be able to tell my prior self, my younger self, my future mindset self, whatever, right? That we're out here, we're doing it. We've done it, we will do it, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it again. Because once you figure out the framework of exactly how to do that one thing, everything else is so much easier because you've already done the hard work even when you don't feel like it, right? So identity is that one thing. And what's the inverse of being at this max confidence? The truth is, without any real direction, in other words, a lot of people, you don't give them a schedule, right? They go to work, they work a 9 to 5, or they go to school. Like there's conditioning of the school system to say, hey, it's normal to move from room to room every so often. It's normal to, come at this establishment, the physical establishment, at certain time in the morning and leave at a certain time. And because of society, we all are basically, merged into this one, mind flow, mindset, a way of thinking, for lack of a better term. So in the end, what happens? Yeah, what happens is the identity of the masses, the identity of society, it takes over. And so your new normal, your new baseline is what? It's basically following what everybody else is doing. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's the fact of, can you get to the place you want by doing all the actions that everyone else is doing? If so, a lot of people are happy, right? They go to their job, they get whatever wage, they save, they budget, they have these activities that they feel are scarce, In other words, like a peasant's mindset of, oh my gosh, I get to go to Six Flags once a year, Disney World once a year. I get to go, eat out twice a week, and oh, we're not going to order any, fancy appetizers because whatever bullshit reason of not making more money, right? But they're already into that mindset. And when I mean money solves most of everything, it's the identity that you give yourself. If you're the forager, you're the farmer, you're the hiker, you're the self-sustainability #1 tree hugger, right? There's nothing wrong with that terminology or anything. It means you love the environment. I also love the environment. Maybe you may love it more, right? There are people that just will love something more, but it's about your why. So my why is, yeah, let's make a boatload of money. But what? Is it to blow at the clubs? Is it to gamble it all away? Is it to, yeah, giving to charity is great, right? But in the end, it's about resource allocation. My identity comes from how much experience I have with managing said assets, let's say under management, managing, yeah, personal finance, my own money. But there's a bigger picture of when you look at resources on your decisions actually impact not thousands or tens of thousands. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands to millions of people. That's not a joke. It's like that line from Spider-Man, like great power comes great responsibility, but that's like more of the ethics behind what you're doing. So if I know that, hey, my version of max confidence to myself is saying, hey, money is very important. Now, if I just sit here and make videos, and maybe one day, we're monetized and getting ad revenue, that's great because people think, people just sit here and make videos all day and make money. Like, no, it's about what value are you providing. Because coming back full circle, right, the inverse of having this max confidence is now coming back to society's baseline, right? And there's people that are removed from society who maybe are taking, DRUGS and just, bad stuff for their body, whether for their internal health, like physical or mental or any type of thing. It's a nonsense, right? But when you come to society's baseline, it's basically what society is expecting from you. And if you do that, you're maybe producing to a certain degree that is going to benefit society, right? And some people are society folks. Like I used to be, when I didn't have my identity, I used to be the guy who was basically getting their identity through, like, as if I was a mirror, I was the reflection of society. So my identity was basically everything society. Everyone looks happy, everyone looks like, everything looks so like, if you don't know, right? If you're not ignorant, right? If they say ignorance is bliss. So when you're like just not realizing what's going on around you, it's like that happiness of a dog, just, breathing and panting and just being happy in the moment. And there is nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful feeling. But when you get a little past of like how this is actually going on, you realize you're kind of the fool, you're the guy who maybe you're too nice, maybe you're always a kind guy, maybe you're always trying to make people laugh. Like that's amazing in the short term, in the fluctuations of society. And people can remember you. Like it depends on what you're going for, right? Some people are for, hey, it's my dignity, hey, it's my last name, hey, it's my surname in some countries, right? In the end, what are they going for? Maybe they're going for a legacy, which, yeah, everyone's different. I may or may not believe it if you ask me. I know you didn't ask me. But the reason is, legacy to some people is, hey, like, this happened in my lineage so many years. Even if I'm not here, I would like the thought to know that things are taken care for, they're just taken care of later. And do I beg to differ? I can. But what do I gain from going down that point? Unless if somebody's like, hey, you're paying me money to get the answer to this question. Like, it's all about where are you putting your time? Like, if I argue that point, I can. And, that's great. But it doesn't really help me because I've already come to terms with my identity of what I think about it, right? So, in the end, if you know who and why, those 5 Ws, who, what, when, and where, and why, basically, like, what are you doing it for? But how do you do the thing? They're the same 5 Ws. It's that framework of, like, who do you need? What the heck are you doing, right? When, where, and the why is the biggest thing. Because when I've been at my rock bottom moments, and when you realize, like, hey, there's no other way to go further down, you can only go up. What does that really mean? That means you have the freedom, right? There's no chains, there's no hassle, there's no tribune, if that's the word, right? There's no issues of you doing exactly that which you want to do. Because you realize anything you do can get you that much higher than from rock bottom than to right now where you are. So just think about it. Nothing's impossible. And in the end, it just comes down to you choosing. Do you want to be what society's image is? Do you want to be the weakest version of yourself? Do you want to be the comfortable version? But when you know what you're doing, it's over. There's no looking back and you got this. My identity comes from me basically rising and falling and rising and falling. And in the end, what I've noticed is money means a lot to me. In other words, resources, tools. And if they're the foundation, what I would say at the end of the day is that's what's giving me, basically my identity is not, oh, this defines me, but it strengthens me. It makes me say, hey, yeah, I'm able to do this. So asset accumulation for me since the very beginning was a huge thing for me because I understood that cash flow comes and goes. You spend your time and you're not able to spend your time for work, for a wage, for an hourly wage, you're not going to get paid. So for me, identity came from one simple thing. It was me realizing why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then the fruits of that labor, the outcome actually told me, hey, I enjoy this. I enjoy the result. And I know it's not easy or hard or whatever version of hard work I say it is for me, but there's that other side. And I breathe so freely I'm so strong. Nothing can touch me, aka the title of this video, right? The one thing that will basically make you untouchable, right? Into your 30s. I'm 31 right now at the time of recording. But I knew this a few years ago. Then you lose a little, of your identity. It happens. It's life. Because humans are always trying to fix this one thing of what is my identity? What is identity? Oh, who am I? How does the world work? Is the Big Bang real? Like, is there a real God? Like, there's so many questions, right? We make up because we don't know the source, and we're always trying to plug the origin. So my version of saying like everything's okay is just know yourself, know why you're doing what you're doing, because only a few people I've noticed who do it purely for themselves have that much fire to keep going, because yourself is one person. But when you try to scale, when you try to help, right? Like as everyone says, express gratitude, help others, do charity, and everything will be fine and dandy. Like usually, the funny thing is that's actually true because it's selfless and you're not thinking about yourself for once. When you're not thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about fight or flight, survival. You're maybe just letting out, right, that energy that you have to the world, and then you get lost in the sharing because we're all, really just humans. Our species is like, yo, what's up, man? Like, we're talking like this. Like, now we're making videos of each other instead of meeting in a central location and, just dabbing each other up and saying what's up, right? So, know this one thing, it will solve everything. And money in the end, for me, like I was saying, it's a big thing in asset accumulation. So for me, after a lot of trading, which is more of an active job, and the one job you can actually trade like securities, assets, like real money, and you can lose money by spending time. I'm basically endeavoring on this project. We've already started construction. I'm building a 250 room hotel because after a lot of asset accumulation from the crypto market, stock market, real estate, all in all, I'm basically looking at, hey, if I could get access to a deal to benefit my future self that much more financially, just like that, because usually these access to a Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, IHG, Wyndham, these type of properties, they don't happen. Like if I'm the average Joe, just like everyone, I'm basically making the deal and saying, hey, anything's possible. So we're talking real money. There may be some background baby noises in the back, but that's the beauty of life, right? We all went together, not just today or tomorrow, but for the long term. So with that, like, share, subscribe, all the things. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.